Let me tell you, if you'd asked me a few years ago what the American dream looked like, I'd have told you it was this sunlight on a perfect blue pool, a glass of wine sweating on the patio table, the whole world quiet except for the hum of a filter. I'd personally installed every inch of this place earned with a lifetime of blood, sweat, and not a small amount of tears. I mean, seriously, I busted my ass for decades in architecture, drew up plans until my hands cramped, wrangled contractors, chased down permits, and when I finally closed on this house, I poured everything I had left into making it a true sanctuary. 6 months after moving in, that Saturday was the first time I finally just existed, soaking it all in, convinced nothing could spoil it. You know where this is going, right? I was laid back on my Shaw's lounge chair feeling like maybe, just maybe, I'd outrun the world's ugliness when the venom came. This isn't a charity for your kind. This is a private residence, and I suggest you collect your welfare check and crawl back to whatever hole you came from before I call the authorities. If you could bottle the acid in her voice, it would have melted steel. I sat up, sunglasses sliding down my nose, and there she was, a woman who looked like she'd stepped straight out of a HOA president, casting call, stiff blonde helmet hair, navy blue blazer that screamed corporate hostile takeover on a Saturday morning. The sneer on her lips looked permanent, and those cold little eyes. If looks could kill, I'd be a chalk outline. Kid. I'd never seen her before in my life. Somehow she'd slipped past my locked backyard gate, carelessness on my part, but not a mistake I'd repeat. And here she was stomping into my oasis like she owned it, dripping with the kind of contempt you usually only see in really bad movies about mean rich people. I'm a grown man, 45, and I've handled plenty of tense meetings, but it took every bit of self-control not to match her energy right there. So I gave her the calmest "ma'am you are on my property. I need you to leave. I could muster." She cackled. "Your property? Oh, that's rich. Do you people just wander into nice neighborhoods and claim things now? Is that the new grift?" She started waving her arm like she was blessing the place, saying, "This pool is a community asset, not for vagrants." The audacity almost knocked the wind out of me. Community asset. I had the loan paperwork and permits to prove otherwise, but in her mind, none of that mattered. I stood all 6'2" of me, not trying to intimidate, but not about to shrink either. "Ma'am, this is a private pool on private land, and you're trespassing. Please leave, or I'll have to call the authorities." That only wound her up more. She yanked out her phone. "You dare threaten me? You're a squatter, a criminal, and when the police get here, they'll drag you out in handcuffs." She didn't just say it, she practically spit it out. Of course, she called 911. "There's a large, threatening black man in my yard. He's aggressive. I fear for my safety." And recited my own address like it belonged to her. You ever get that cold chill when you realize the script has already been written for you? That was me watching her invent a fiction and knowing damn well how dangerous that fiction could become. So I grabbed my phone, hit record, and waited for the show. The police siren started faint, then got louder, echoing off the stonework I'd chosen myself. And here comes the cavalry, a young officer with a rookie's careful uncertainty, hand resting near his holster, trying to look everywhere and nowhere at once. He addresses us both. "We received a trespassing complaint," but before I can say a word, she launches into her act. "Thank God, officer, he broke into my yard, threatened me. I have children. Never mind, the house next door looked empty. No kids in sight. When it's finally my turn, I say, 'My name is Michael. I live here. This is my home.' Calm, hands open. I point out she's trespassing, harassing me, and I have it all on video. The officer looks caught between dueling realities, hers, where she's queen of the castle, and mine, where I'm just the guy who actually owns the castle. She keeps shrieking, calling me a squatter, insisting she's the real owner, and suddenly it's not just about me, it's about who looks like they belong. The officer asks for proof of residence, and she puffs up, 'I'm HOA president. My word is enough.' But I'm ready. I ask if I can retrieve my wallet and deed promise to let the officer accompany me. He agrees, and just like that, the balance starts to shift. I come back out with the full stack deed, closing documents, city permits, and my ID. He flips through everything, looking from the paperwork to me and then back to her. She calls my papers forgeries, but the facts are ironclad. He tells her so. Her face goes from red to purple, then to sheet white. Then the documents are wrong. The county is wrong. I am the rightful owner, as if sheer volume could conjure up a legal right. That's when backup arrives. Officer Gable, a veteran with a sun-spotted scalp and a 1,000-yard stare. He sizes up the scene, barely blinks at her shouting. She's got another trick up her sleeve, a laminated community land trust declaration she shoves at him like it's the Magna Carta. The thing looks like it was printed at Office Depot, full of bold Gothic fonts and signatures that don't mean a damn thing. Gable holds it up to the sun, totally unimpressed. "Ma'am, this is not a legal document," he says. "You're trespassing. You made a false police report. You harassed this man." Every word lands like a hammer. She tries to rally one last time, shrieking about injustice and you people sticking together, but it's over. Gable gives her a choice: apologize and leave or go to jail. She storms off humiliated, and for a second, I consider pressing charges. But all I really want is my peace back. Just make sure she never comes back, I say. But of course, peace is a fragile thing. The next week I get a letter from the HOA, her HOA citing me for a dozen fabricated violations, my fence, the stonework, the pool. They slap me with $45,000 in fines and threaten foreclosure. She couldn't take my pool with a lie, so now she's trying to take my house with paperwork. I knew logic wouldn't win here, and that's when I realized I'm in a war of attrition, not a debate. Time to stop playing defense. I call Arthur, an old contact bulldog lawyer. Nothing slips past him. We lay it all out: video documents, the racist confrontation, and the HOA's malicious fines. Arthur's plan is bold sue the HOA, and her personally file for an injunction subpoena every scrap of HOA records and get the feds involved for civil rights violations. He says people like her, they get sloppy. We'll find more than just petty harassment. Bet on it. Turns out he's right. The discovery phase is like lifting a rock and watching the bugs scatter. We find shell companies, her sister running a fake landscaping firm that overcharged the HOA for years, her nephew handling pool maintenance at triple the rate, embezzlement everywhere you look. Emails show her telling her lawyer to bury him in fines. Wire fraud, conspiracy, housing discrimination. The list grows. We hand it to the DA, but nothing happens. That's when it clicks. Her late husband was a power broker. The system is protecting her because exposing her means exposing everyone. But the twist comes from an unexpected place: an anonymous tip about the original land deal. Arthur's paralegal digs up records from the 70s showing that the whole subdivision, including my lot, was built on land meant to be a public park, only privatized by a crooked deal and a payoff. The entire neighborhood's founding story is a fraud, and her family is at the rotten heart of it. Arthur goes public press, state attorney general, and suddenly the narrative changes. Now not just me, but the entire community is furious. People start supporting me openly, neighbors who'd been terrified of her for years. The accountant next door helps lead a recall petition. The neighborhood rallies demanding her removal and a forensic audit. She's forced to resign, criminal charges follow, the press covers it all, and the karma keeps coming. Turns out with the land's original status exposed, the county hits her personally with millions in back taxes. Her fortune evaporates. Her house is foreclosed. She's a pariah. Her husband's name stripped from the clubhouse, her legend destroyed. It should have ended there, but life's not a movie. A year later, I catch a glimpse of her broken in a cheap tracksuit, begging the new HOA manager for old photos, claiming she's the real victim. The only thing left is her delusion. The community, though, it's thriving. We plan a community garden, throw block parties, and my pool, the scene of the original crime, is now the center of laughter and friendship. The man who once wanted to disappear into privacy is now the accidental hero in a neighborhood legend. So what did I learn? That justice takes a fight, that community matters, and that sometimes the best revenge isn't seeing your enemy fall. It's living better together in the place they tried to steal from you. Let me ask you, after everything, who really owned the pool in the end? Drop a comment, tell me what you think. Was I right not to press charges at first? Do you think justice was truly served? Or does this kind of story just repeat itself in different places, different faces? I want to hear your stories, because if this can happen in my backyard, it can happen anywhere.